Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here taking a look at round 2 of Universe I'm excited for this. Now this is different than the first challenge, and I know most of us know that if you're watching this, where they are going head to head on the same track, same arrangement would be my assumption. I don't know about the choreo side, but I don't know if its starting lineups got to go up against other starting lineups or benches. I'll find that out in the episode, so fear not, I'll have that clarified. But so far, the episode, it appears they only released 3 out of the 6 performances. So how we're going to do this is we are going to look at Ignition, both groups back to back, analyze both, take my pick, do it kind of normal like a regular analysis. And then we are going to look at Mamma Mia, the first group, analyze it. But next week, we're going to revisit the full cam to do the back to back, pick the group and do it that way. So just kind of keep that in mind. And also I am treating these like if I was reached out by SBS, they're like, hey, we want you to be an interim director, give your feedback on this rehearsal footage. This would be kind of the feedback that I would give. So keep in mind, I'm framing my perspective and my feedback and my analysis on the videos that I'm given here. Yes, I wish that SBS released the performance live audience takes in full cam, but I don't know if these are or not. So we're just gonna go with what we have and enjoy the process. So let's go. Okay. So we have our first group of Ignition, and I actually have no idea who's against who. So this is going to be really fun for me. We're going to watch both. That was cool. Ooh, okay. I hear cheering. Nice. Do I see a cleaner wave coming out of Daisuke there, maybe? Possibly? Okay. Cool. Wow, stable. Nice. Subtle. Cool. All right. Here we go. Next group. Let's go. Nice. So this challenge is not just about the players. Wow. Wow. Cool. Ah, okay. Okay. I hear cheers. So I'm assuming these are the performances. I mean, y'all let me know if I'm off, but I mean, we're gonna treat it whatever the videos I have is what we're going off of. Okay, who would I vote for? Now, actually, technically the live audience just votes for the members. I don't think they vote teams, so I guess whoever has the more accumulated member total is the one who wins, right? So I'm not gonna pick a favorite team, funnily enough. I think here's what's really interesting about this challenge. It is not just about the players on this. It is a legit team challenge. It is not really just about the arrangement. The arrangement is the same on both sides. The choreography is different, is what it looks like. How the choreography frames the track will frame how they are perceived in performance, right? So if the choreo is more syncopated, more complex in content, there's going to be a higher demand for the body, which means that the vocals are at a greater risk. But also, if you have choreography that's too redundant or too plain, you can run into the problem of it not standing out or making you be as competitive on the performance side by having that saturation of movement. So I find this challenge so interesting because regardless of how these boys score, part of it is going to be not up to them. It's going to be up to whatever the preference of the space is. I can see Team Beat get some scoring on some of their members because how their line distribution was, they did pretty decent. I think one of the guys on this take right here, he felt a little rushed through when he was presenting. Now, if this is a live performance on site, gut may say that that's the adrenaline talking. He may have been fine in rehearsal, but when adrenaline comes in, you can go a little bit fast. So I could see some Team Beat potentially get some good scores because of the stability and some of our vocal choices. And then I can also, the same can be true for rhythm. I also don't know when this portion of the round was recorded. Was it before or after the start of the show? Because if it was before, then we can't assume, we can assume either side of, was the audience influenced off the episodes or not? I feel like that can be a little component that's added in the mix at some point. I also think I do know that something that's just been brought to my attention over watching the Mnet shows and now watching SBS side, when it comes to a live audience, they will have preferences. Sometimes people tend to be very patriotic, right, of those that represent their home country. So I feel that if you have a heavy Korean-based live audience, they may tend to tailor towards the Korean members out of support for their country representatives, just like you have individuals from the Philippines, from Thailand, from Australia. You're going to have people that want to support their individual from the country that they rep, right? Makes total sense. It's a very normal thing. Now, can that add and contribute to the subjectiveness of the show? Absolutely, which is the risk you will always run anytime you do a live audience ever. You have to remember, at the end of the day, I don't know the what the goal is for the final lineup for the show. Are they wanting to go more global group, or are they wanting to go like heavy, like this is a primarily K-pop group? Do you know what I mean? Because that does change how you could operate your live audience. But that's a little overview note that I wanted to say about the challenge, that if a group, like, for example, with team, I think this is Team Rhythm versus Team Beat. That's my assumption here. I think this is the starting lineup here, and I think this is the bench team from Beat here. And I've said this once, and I will say it again. It doesn't matter if somebody's on starting lineup or bench. Everybody is going towards the same goal, right? So I'm not going to look at a starting lineup as better than bench. It's just how the cards fell. And when it comes to a point system, that's from a subjective pool. Like, you're gonna run into imbalances, and that's life, you know. So anyway, regardless of who wins, it's not gonna be like, I don't assume it to be where one blows the other out of the water. Both are competitive because you had stable people on the line distribution, so you have that going for it. Okay, here we go. The turnaround was fine. We go and we walk forward. The lift is fun. They grab, pull down. So I like that dynamic in the beginning. Really cool. The pull on the arm is great. The lift up, again, it goes brrr. I like the little trickle down. Looks really nice there. Then they switch up on the arms, which was really cool. Then he pulls through. So I like the dynamics of that beginning. Really cool. I like the mirroring going on, meaning that you had people compliment on each side, whether in opposing angles or in choices that made him feel like he's breaking something through. Now, I don't know the words or lyricism here, so that can affect some of the wordplay choices that the choreography has that I may not catch. I'm sorry. So that's the only thing that I don't have working for me here. But I can go off of tone, I can go off of other track, like parts of the track, and I can go off of the transitions, the dynamics, and I'm not influenced by SBS's narrative. I have no idea what they chose to do in this episode, so I couldn't tell you, if we had any tension or issues going on in the episode. That's the beauty of doing the full cam analysis. Okay, so I like they take the arm up and they bring it in. I like this choice here. So, because also when you think about it, when you do choreo, the focal point does play a role on the virality of it in the culture of this day and age whenever you do K-pop based or artist based promotions, right? So the focal point, like, I like that. It's memorable to me. There's a lot of this little tracing, creepy crawling effect I saw throughout too, which was really cool. When it comes to a performer, I do like my guy right here. We may just go off of when people are featured. I think that could be JL maybe, right? JL was very stable. I liked his wave. I'm a sucker for a good wave too, as a waver myself. So I like seeing that. I like the little hinge back, tracing the arm down, letting the sound be influencing the movement off the sound. That little wah 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 wah. That's a really dope part of the track. I like how the knee and we bring it right back up. I like that choice, and we hit it over. I like the accent point with the chest on that's really cool. Then we pull it down. We accent high low, rotating it up and over, and we go pull pull, which is also nice. I like the little accent of the head there. High low, pull pull pull, and then we do a little subtle switch out, new feature in center. So we had this moment, opposition, everyone went low except for your feature, he went high. Yeah, everyone's pretty stable. I mean, you can hear, when you're doing this kind of syncopation, it's kind of hard to not be stable. No, it's kind of hard to be stable. Sorry, why did I say that? But yeah, so I can hear a little bit of like, it doesn't feel super stable, but it's still very well done. Like, guys, like, I'm very surprised of how much more consistent we're becoming out the gate immediately. Like, this is great. Going from one challenge to the next, I think their practice is paying off on both teams. I feel like we're doing great. We love it. Rotating it through the pool is really nice. And then they go, yeah, I like the fingers on that. And the pull. I do think most improved award, I think I'm going to give to Daisuke. I think that's who this is right here. From the drafts to now. I even think he ended up doing a wave way cleaner here. So I can see that we're seeing the fruits of the labor, everybody. So I like that progress there. Part of me wishes we had more screen time for other individuals so we can really appreciate the growth from multiple lenses. But I think they're pretty good. They hit it through, the accents there and the scuff on the legs nice. And they look, I like this head as we go and bring it to the front. And they go hit, ding, ding. Now, of course, that's a very obvious range discrepancy there. When I talk about range, it's how you get from A to B. I love the commitment of how wrong that is versus the marked insecurity. Like, that's just he was just a count too early. That's life, guys. At the end of the day, yes, we always want to strive for the squeaky clean perspective. I also know anything can happen. I can always hope, if this is not the official performance take, that's something that we have more confidence in, on the clarity on moving forward in the next performance, but once again, I don't know if these are the official ones. That's life. They hit it over. Yeah. So it also too, low-key, got a little lucky because there was somebody else who ended up going up either too early or something. So it looked low-key balanced to a certain extent. So they dropped down, and then I like the accent points happening there. That's a fun tone shift, right? So it's do, and you have choreography that backs it. I like that everybody's hinged over, and you have accent points going on with the arms. I don't know if we're waving it through, but it does feel like we're traveling energy through, right? I like the energy happening on the back. That was a good choice. Break the wall, break the war. If it's wall, then he pushes the walls. That's kind of dope. I like that choice. Going to the two columns could be a smidgen cleaner, making it nice and crisp and militant on that line, but that's, that happens for run through for full cam. It's life. And then we go and we present the arms out. This is really fun. I think he's probably one of my favorite feature moments. Like, that's really cool. We're here for that. Love it. The pull is cool. The vibe. So he's very stable. Every time that he's gone, been very stable. I can see him as a contender of MVP, possibly. I don't know. The pulse on that's really cool. He hits it through, like, on the chest on that. And then I think this was one of our traded players, right? It's Chin-Li. Right? I can never, because how they have it spelled, I'm not confident when you got multiple consonants next to each other like that. I always feel so insecure as an English speaker. I'm so sorry. Anyway, but the pulse on that's fun. The spacing to the inside is nice. So they go up, they go, so here we're build up there, then they snake it through. It's not a basket run. Thank you for no basket runs. I don't think either of them had it. Progress on the choreography side. I can live with that. So they hit it through, hit, boom, boom, boom. So this already has familiarity. We've already kind of seen that the first time when we caught that range thing with one of our guys. And then I like that. That's a fun little gimmicky moment there to recognize the sound. I like that. And push it out to the side, which is nice. Then we go out, swivel it down, and they go out in, like we're doing a little hit them folks moment. Then we bring it through, little body roll, we hit it, little switch up, boom, boom, with the V-step to the back. I like that with the foldovers. And then I don't know who our feature is. I initially was thinking it was over my guy on that stage. Stage left side, but I could just be, it's not even a spacing thing. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I think it's still center there. Let's see. Okay. See, I'm trying to figure it out because I still want to go over to the stage left side. It could just be power or not using, it could be he's only using extremities and not engaging in the back, so there's not a lot of accented power from his choices. And I'm not saying that as a note, it's more of an observation. I'm just trying to understand why in my head I naturally want to keep going to that stage left side when the spacing is not influencing that. No, it is. It is. Hold on, look. So it's darker over here, right? So you can see the colors more clearly on this side. Not only that, there's a subtle spacing thing right here with my guy. If he scooted over a smidge, it would be more even in the gaps. Therefore, he wouldn't stick out as much as an outlier. So I think it could partially be where our energy's coming from, but it also could be because there's more space. Subtle, but because of the darker background here compared to the red, it's way easier to see the spacing. That's what we're gonna go with. It's not even, that's not even whatever. That's just so fascinating. And a throw there is fine. Which also, if anything, it may show you the importance of spacing when everyone's doing unison. Because I've said this on so many K-pop analysis, and I do stand by it, which is okay for me to have this opinion. For the choreographers, I think it's absolutely okay for there to be an expectation and responsibility on the choreography side and the composition for the choreography to do a good job of stewarding how to feature your dancers and your members and your performers, not relying so much on the camera shots to make that happen, but the composition of the dynamics and levels and staging and spacing to do that for you, right? Because if you notice, like I just talked about, that spacing was a little off and it made me want to clock my guy over there because he was an outlier over on that stage left side. Very subtle, but enough for me to, my eyes to want to linger. But it's because whoever was in my center in front, he's still there. But notice it's like a lot of times you can have anybody pop up anywhere for a feature, and that's just the cool part about the K-pop scene is you really get to see that reflected in the choreography competition side. So I just found that as a very interesting note to kind of make clear is that you run the risk the more you go unison on this, the higher the risk you have of their of your audience not really knowing who to clock, even if you have somebody that's vocalizing. That's just a little side note though. Bending it over, I love that little boom, and then we slide across, which is cool. And then we have the head on that, so he does his arm up, and he hits it over. I like the pulse going on with the shoulder. That was cool. So I do like the cohesion of the group here. I like these choices when you see that really nice full choice of the shoulder. Everybody's committing to the same hinge over, which is nice. I would say my my feature in center on that, it could be a preference thing. It didn't feel as powerful as how he could present himself based on how it's been set up and structure leading up to this choice, I think is my note here. Nice hit over. The presentation on the pull is really nice on that. I like the arms up and they go down, down, down. We're here for that. The crossover in the back, new feature. I like how he ended up crawling it. It actually tied together. I think it was JL's feature from earlier. He did it across the chest. So across the back, which was cool. Fun intensity there, and I like the breakaway on that. Cool. Commitment there. Trace up from the thigh, up through the chest to the top. And then you have, ooh, what did they end up doing there? Hold on. Oh, did they do? Oh, they do a little shimmy on those legs. That's fun. And then like brush is fun. He said, let me do a little tease over here on that stage right side. Okay. And then I hear the audience. You see what I mean? Okay. So now what happens? Now you see there's an obvious spacing thing here happening because you got your stage right. He's over there, living it up, lifting the shirt, teasing the audience, and then you have your stage left. Everybody, I think formation-wise, it looks like we condense it, right? And then we have some opposition. I think my first guy, he went just a smidgen too early, but then we got it nice and clean on that second one. The kick is fun. They end up doing a little ATL stomp there. Hold on. Yeah, they kick it. They go high-low. I mean, part of me, if we're going to do an ATL stomp, we go, but hey, pick our battles. That's life. Going. And then the pull out to the side and back in. Now, I do have a question. Do the directors get to pick the line distribution of the track, or is the line distribution the same for both? And then you just have to pick who you want for it. Does my question make sense? Because I feel like, yes, choreography is different. Costuming is different. The costuming matches, the group that's being represented, which I actually really like. It makes it feel like, here's our team that we're repping. But the composition's the same. So I don't know that. Ooh, boy. Maybe I'll find that out, right? The hip through. I like the little boxer bounce that we're seeing there. It does look like we're utilizing our hips more so than an actual weight shift, which I found interesting. I do think because of the aggression of how we're coming across in our movement quality, I do think it would be helpful if we were placing our weight and prioritize the weight shift more than the hips on that choice. But it could just very easily be how they process the information when they receive the choreography as to what ended up in that result. So we have the accent up, low. I like that we used that little trio to go through a column to get them spread back out to a little triangle, having my outside group come in to condense into a more clumped formation. And I like the little subtlety there is fun. The meltdown, da-da-da-da, and then we go, switching the weight from one side to the other. Then they do a little extra hit accent with the heel. It's totally fine. I feel with this group and with beat, there were two moves. Like that move there, I feel like I've seen before. Maybe not in the show, but I've seen it recently. Pa, pa. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun at the end of the day. And then the other group, they did something that I'm like, I swear I just saw that at some point somewhere. So I apologize for not being able to cite it off the top. But anyway, I don't mind the familiarity. I just found it interesting how it was something that we just clocked so quickly, right? That was good. Nice and full there. So I like the speed change. You have a little accent point going on the elbows. Really nice charisma on that choice. So far with features, I think there was only one note I gave to one feature, which is still freaking great for a minute and a half. Not really seeing that as a concern. I like the drop of the level on that. Looks great. And we walk. Do you see the wave? Thank you. I see so much progress there. I love that. Then we end up zigzagging it. Boom, boom, boom. And then we have one with the cross, more so on the chest. And then we have one with the arms completely up. Then we have everybody else continuing on their tempo. It's not even a tempo walk. Preferentially, that would have been really cool, but you don't have to do that. But I like the transition that it was pretty balanced in that choice. And I like how he takes his arms and then he comes up while this is still going. I like the completion of that. We're not cutting off movement when we decide to go and do something else. That's why polyrhythm training is so important, because you're learning to tell your brain to do multiple things at the same time. So even if it's something as simple as my arm draping high-low and coming up, you'd be surprised of how many people will cut off this flow for the sake of the next motion. So I like the fact that you can see the discipline of the practice here. It looks great. I like the pulse on that. I like the little brush to have a reveal. That was a good reveal. The pulse is great on the chest. We present into the column, and then from here I like that little ripple from front to back. Looks great. And then he pulls and traces it down, and then we have a simple V. Let's go. And then you hit it over, boom, 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 and then you're doing the same thing with the pull. And I like the weight change on that too, letting the torso cater more towards that left side. For them, hit it over, and his range was a little smidgen off there. Nothing crazy though. Flame high. The knee was fine. The pickup's fine. Now this choreo, I mean, it's fine. Like, is it the most innovative? I like some of the moments in it. Yes, absolutely. But is this like, yo, one choreo blew the other out of the water? No. For me, preferentially, I like it to be as even as possible. That's what I loved. Side note about Stage Fighter is there was a challenge in that show where you had the same leads. Well, so it was lead versus lead. They had the same choreo except for one section. And then you had the same secondary choreographies, and they had their own little sections, but everything else, they were being judged the same. So for me, if you're going to do this challenge, that would be something that you can make it feel a little bit more equal in the comparison train if you're going to do it. Because I don't know if that's what people are doing in the audience or whatever. Is have the choreography the exact same. I don't think it is. And so you're not matching who has better performance quality for this concept. It's who had a better team, not just in players, but also in who line distributed better, who had better choreo. Which to me, is that as fair to the players at the end of the day? I mean, nothing's fair in the show if we're just calling it what it is. The screen time, the opportunities, like there's nothing fair, and that's life. I'm not saying that as a critique. It's just an observation. It's TV. At the end of the day, we have to remember that. And all these boys are doing a fantastic job being on it. I like the competitive elements of it. It's not overly toxic yet, to my knowledge. There's a chance I may encounter something in the episode, but I'm saying so far, based on the full cams, I mean, everybody's holding it down very well, and they should all be very proud of themselves. So, anyway, they pull it through, they go hit, and the pulse. Now, that doesn't feel as consistent the second time compared to the first time, so that would be my note that I would give there as feedback. So, that was fun. Nothing crazy. I mean, it was a good feature on the side. The pulls are nice. Dun, dun, dun. And I like how they ended up going and dropping the level to the floor. Looks great. They hit, and then they go through. I like the different low to high reaches. I think that was a very nice and interesting choice. Normally you see everybody go lower, everybody go high, so that was cool. They go high, low, which is nice. And you feel the fire. Come on now. and they go low, and then I like the arms going up. Fun. A little slide through is cool. I am seeing a lot of JL, but I'm accepting the process. I understand sometimes, like, your team, you want to set your team up for success. JL has a lot of experience being an idol in the Philippines, right? So he's used that to your advantage if you have it, right? And there were other members on Team Beat that were used a lot too. So that's what makes me just wonder if it's like the same line distribution or not, because that would be another component if you want to do a straight up comparison. You get everybody the same line distribution, everybody the same choreo, they get the same demo work, and you get the same arrangement. And that's that. And then you just, who did it better, you know? I think it's a little bit different than that, I feel, possibly. And that's okay. It's okay. I get to uncover all this later. But he's holding it down while they're doing a good job on who they have on their stuff, like on both teams. I mean, there was really only one note that I gave for one of the guys. So that's a really, really good sign just for the quality of the contestant that you have on the show. You know what I mean? So that's cool. I like that little, the moon was fun. And then I like how he hits a good stage presence there. And then you have the tension on that, which is fun. I like the tension accents that he chose to do on that. That was fun. And I like how he accented to use that to pull the chest forward. That was really nice. Low, high. I like the head nods on that. The punch down is nice. The hit accent on the elbow is cool. They go better hold tight. This doesn't... That part, I don't quite... I'm trying to think. It feels... like, I think my center, he did more of an extroverted choice, but everybody did that fixed point rotation, right? So let's look. Yeah, better hold tight. So it felt like some people reset up before rotating and some say down. So that would be a little note there. Some of us didn't commit all the way. Some of us did. So that part didn't feel as clean, which, you know, that's checks and balances, right? Going forward, that can influence the individual score is what I'm going to probably consider more so than team score. Team score is about the individuals at the end of the day. It hit the pulse down was fine. Ready or not. So he goes to the side. I find that interesting. He does a little accent point. There's no sound for it, which is fine, but so we have a little, you know, little motion there. The swing now, boom. I like that with the shoulder on that, so I like that we recognize that. That was cool. And we go sit and we rotate the arms, dropping them low, and we accent and we use that to transition. So it was fine. Not quite clear on who was supposed to go up when, so that would be a little note I would give there, just to be more clear on the clarification on that. And then his choice here, I'm curious if we're getting tired. Obviously they're getting tired, but that's what's starting to insert in my brain. Are we getting fatigued, and so we're starting to make more range discrepancies? That's probably a note I may be giving to Beat as well. You know, that's just life. That's just what happens as a skill set that you have to learn how to regulate. And I mentioned that on the other challenges too. So that kick, that doo-doo-doom, that was fine. I can see it enough there. The swing, so it does look like we did like a full torso swing, and then we isolated it on the chest on that choice, and then we use that to direction change. We take the hands that doom, 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 doom. So we take the hands, we bring them up, down, and then we expand them out to the side, which is cool. And then I go up, boom, boom. Double down, and then we present to the side. And the fun little fan moment there. The hip all changed. They look, pulse, pulse. So I like the reach on that is nice. The turn is fun. So they're low, but not everybody went super low. You know what I mean? There's like little things like that where the hinge on most were good, but there was one that was a little bit of an outlier that could make me deviate from my feature to somebody else. So that's why it's always important when everybody who's not the feature in that moment, they don't make the same choice. I'm not talking about individuality. I'm talking about when it's a unison choice outside of a 1-point feature. That's why the range matters a lot on those, because of the same point that I made at the beginning of the analysis of this group, right? Where your spacing can influence where I look, but also how you commit to your moment or commit to that move alongside others that are doing the same move as you. It's going to make me clock you, right? So the little head there is fine. We brush it over. Can you feel the vibe? Here we go. Fun little finish, low to mid high, like the accent there. Hit over, and then we punch to the front, the boom, and then I hit. I like the presentation, the throw. Really nice way to a lot of the interruption sounds. I like the choreo choices for. They're fun. I like how they set it up, especially with that leg in the beginning. I liked that choice, and I liked this. Like, it's just they're really cool moments, and that little claw in the beginning was fun too. And they do a little smeeze. I'll just do a little pickup of the foot. It was cool. They go down low, they go hit, hit, and I like that choice. Why? Because it does remind you of Maniac, doesn't it, right? Anyway, but it ties more so because of the context of this dance in track. It feels more, it ties into this, right? But even though this move right here, if you've seen it, Maniac Stray Kids, can you feel the vibe? And they hit it down, and we swivel, nice little lingering finish. And that felt like we tied in that beginning that we saw, right? And then we finish. Now, are there possible wordplay integrations? Always. Always, always, always. I am such a wordplay girly, so it would not surprise me at all if I miss some things. It's life. I wish I was proficient at Korean, but I have to know my limitations. Okay, here we go with Team B. Oh, so I know some of you are like, Jess, pick your favorites. Let's go ahead and pick who are my preferences out of everybody here. I mean, I think I would say JL did a very good job. I would say every time he was featured, because that's what I look at. Every time somebody is featured, how well do they hold it down? I think he did a great job. Who else? Let me see. There was a guy, let me see. Yeah, so JL was good, so he would be somebody that I would consider voting for this round. I think there was somebody, I think it's my guy right here. I really liked his movement quality for this one, so I would say he would get a vote for me too. If I were just to pick, at the end of the day, I don't really vote on the Universe League. I try to be as neutral as possible on the analytics side, because I don't want to have to, do that. I'm going to let the fans do it. I want to be in this position as neutral as possible. Here, I think there's only been one person I think that I've actually been very vocal about where I wish there was more screen time, and I think he's in this group. So you can call me a fan or an advocate. I think that's a better role for this. I really want to be an advocate for those who are just good, but they're not getting that screen time. Come on, SBS. Are you not seeing what we're seeing? Anyway, so here we go. Team B, rotating around. He did a really good job. So I could see him being most valuable player in this. He's got a lot of really good choices. Now this right here, boom. That is, reminded me of One and Only. That's where that came from for me. Okay, moving on. The shoulders on that was fine. He goes, brrr. The little ha. So I am curious too, who went first? Was it rhythm or was it beat? Because I know some people, if you watch this second, it's in the subjective eye, people can look at this and go, this doesn't feel as powerful. But remember, it's different choreography. So you have to look at what the choreography is, and you have to think, okay, how is it supposed to be structured to the track? That's where musicality, texture, and dynamics really, really matter. Because if everyone's supposed to take more of a subdued approach in the structure the choreo calls for it, then they're doing exactly what they need to do. It's about, was that a group collective decision, or was that somebody just went off the deep end and did something really extroverted when they weren't supposed to? Do you know what I mean? So far, the group's doing pretty okay on the fullness on that. So they come up, hit, so it's like a little party moment, and they all do a little body roll, a little accent point, rotation through. So notice that this felt very full, and you could clearly hear that sound. So that was nice to see. They go hit, rotate through. So that was totally fine. It goes hit, and then they range it through. So I do think if we're looking at the group as a whole, I feel that some of our range on the rotations, it's a hinge thing. I notice it more on rhythm at the end. Here I'm noticing it out the gate where the rotation, some are hinging more than others, even though I clocked it on rhythm when it was a different plane that they were operating from there. I like the little brush on the jacket. That was fun. And it goes tap, tap. Fun levels on that. The spacing could have been a smidgen better over on the side, because my guy right here, I didn't know if he was in front or back. So that's something interesting there. That was smart there, where he says, hey, look at me. I like the hold on the slide. So that was a cool choice. Yo, boom, boom. I loved that. So that was really, really cool coming at it from over here. That boom, boom. That was nice. Rotating through. Oh, yeah, nice. So he did pretty decent on this too. Love that. Nice conversation element. I think it's my guy right here. You notice that whenever you listen to tracks, there's like a being in the pocket on the track. Now, some of you are like, Jess, what in the world does that mean? So I can speak on this when it comes to like the funk styles. So they're not really doing any funk dance styles here. But being in the pocket is being in the groove. So whenever you hear a track, the best way I've heard it word was from Castro. Shout out to him. He said that a really good way to think about it is, instead of thinking on the beat, think right before the sound disappears is when you hit it, right? So because if you go on the beat, I mean, you're technically on time, but if you hit it, you're going to have this nice little residual effect, because you have to think about sometimes how the music exists in the acoustic of the space. You also have to think about how the movement range operates whenever the accent point hits a count. There's so many different things. So I feel like when you hear about it, when you listen to vocals, sometimes when you hear them like da na 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 na, when they're a little bit ahead, it feels like we're rushing, and I think that's what it is. I think that's an adrenaline thing, which makes me excited for him to refine the skill set. Or if this is not the performance, and this is like a sound check or something, and there's people there, which could very easily be the case too, because concerts operate that way. I would hope the next time he performs it, he's able to kind of refine that and approach it a little bit more calmly. Because he's stable, he's great. I just think it's just rushing a little bit, or maybe it's just how I'm hearing it, and that's life. Okay. So I like that choice. That was cool, but it does feel like we're not all on the same page on how to execute it. So I think the synergy can affect the individual scoring there. The rotation on that was really cool. Rotating to the other side was nice. The rotating, I like the overhead there, and I like the connection to the leg. That was a cool sequence, the twirl, and then we go into a heel toe, and we recognize it, and then we go high to low, the push over. So I like that, having our duo over here. We have some walking over, and it goes into an add-on. So they hit, I like the shrug, or mostly just like a little touch on the shoulders is nice. They go down, up, which is nice. Then they hit it out to in. So it's subtle. I like that hit. And so he's stable. So I can really see out of everybody, I think he'd be somebody I would vote for. Fly. I like the pickup on that, which is nice. Now this, good energy here. They go hit, and I like the travel through and going into a mirror formation to our next feature. It goes high, low, boom, boom, up, and then we go up, and then they go and they expand it out. So I like that choice. Then we walk, and it goes ready or not, eh? And then they go twinkle, da, 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 versus here, right? With rhythm, they went da, 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 da. They're still hitting this. They're hitting the sound, and that's really a priority for me. Are we representing the track, and we're not ignoring really cool opportunities in our music, And that's a choreography note. That's not a player note, right? So far, both choreographies are doing that. They go around. Yeah, ready or not. So it goes ready or not, right? Or something along those lines. And get set, and then through. Cool. And they pull on go, and we throw the arms, and then we do a nice little just overhead on that, drop down. And then it feels like we're going to a little Bismarcky or something similar to that, but more it doesn't have like a ton of groove integrated in it. The fight, it felt more combative, like a fight, it felt like that. And they hit it, boom, and they punch, and then they switch it up with the hands is fun. Dum, da, da, dum, and they go, here we go now. You can't feel that. Feel da, da, so triple it. That's fine, cool. Stable, yeah. So all of them are pretty stable. Accents are fun. They hit with a punch on the top. It's fine. We can feel the vibe, and then we go and we throw. Accent over, I like the over, we're here for that. And the move. So I like the transitions on this choreo a lot. I do. I would say if we're going to compare choreography, so it actually has nothing to do with the players. That's whatever. It's I'm looking at the actual structure of the choreographies. I think I like this choreography structure more in the verse. In the chorus, I feel like it can interchange. I'd hybrid them. There's some things I liked in this chorus that I wish was in the other one, and vice versa. But then there's some moments that I'm like, it kind of feels like we're plateauing a little bit. But I digress. So I find that interesting that both are kind of on like an even playing field in terms of really like the focal point sections. But there's really cool moments in the rhythm one on how we're hitting the textures or timbres of the sound. I really like the transitions of this one a lot though. Okay. So we go high, low, so that was nice. And then we're going swim and swim, which is nice. And then we hit it up, and we bring it through. We cross it over. It does feel like we're about to do that's a bad one, is what that felt like we were doing. But there's no light feet pocket in this whatsoever. So I find that interesting. And so they're kind of bouncing it through. Bring it through. I like the little wave. So it feels like we're intentionally conserving energy and we're letting our arms do a lot of the conversational elements of it. It's a risk, yeah, especially whenever you're against a group that's known for their performance. You have the risk of the more you choose to preserve. That can work for you on the stability side, but it can work against you because people are subconsciously comparing these two teams because they're not given a schema to judge off of anyway. We can't expect them to judge it like we're on a freaking professional dance circuit. It's not the same thing, right? So it's a subjective art. It's a subjective competition with a subjective narrative. We gotta chalk it up to that too. So even my feedback, take with a grain of salt. It's all circumstantial. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is really fun to be able to kind of have these little checkpoints to appreciate what they're doing and also be able to figure out what about certain qualities of one routine may influence how you perceive it in when you watch it, right? So they going, oh, hey. So I love the fullness of this. Like this right here, I was kind of really wishing for a little bit more of that. I would have loved to see that intensity. I could see my guy right here. I would probably vote for him too. He did fantastic. I really like every time he's been featured, he's been very strong. And the punch uppercuts are nice, and I like the little pickup and march on that. And they not really ball change it. I like the pickup, and then we step back on it is nice. And then we go level. I think level, right? So we do a little stacking on the level on that. Little pickup. There's your party moment, one side to the other. It goes going. I think that is is it Junhyuk? It's the I think it's quarter zip is right there, right? He's stable every freaking time. He looks great when he goes full out. I have no idea why he has not been featured at all in the show. It is shockingly interestingly weird to me, honestly, but that's whatever. I'm not SBS. They probably have whatever they want to do, live life. But sir, if you ever watch these, dude, you're freaking killing it. Like if I were to vote, he would be my first pick because he's been the most consistent out of everybody. I mean, of course you have other people, like you have people like JL's been very, very consistent, and I'm very happy that he has a fan base that can show that support. Like I love that the people who are really killing it are getting that support. I'm coming at it from the lens on like, I like advocating for people, especially when I'm like, I don't know why they're not scoring as well as they should. And so that's why I'm going up to bat for him. I'm like, he's did great here. And I wish the bench teams got way more screen time. I don't know how the screen time went on this, but man, oh man, he's been killing it. So I'm pulling for him. So I like this, the reveal of our next feature was really cool. The switch up is nice. The little tap behind was cool in the build up. This was a really cool moment. I will say this verse, really, really cool. I wish that we had more of this energy in the beginning. I think that would have really helped set the tone of it more successfully because there's a chance that people can be influenced off the first 10 seconds. A lot of people are that way. So, but this was really fun though. This was really cool where he traces it through, he has a little moment in the center and then he retraces it back. I like that we have an environmental hinge happening or we're just shifting the weight was really nice on that too. I like how he uses that moment to take those arms, rotate them around to get those members out and down so he's still the focal point there. And we pulse up, which is really nice, and pick it up. Yeah, and we go have a nice little moment, and the switch up on that. Once again, it feels very heavy on extremity, not really using a ton of the torso on that. And the pull is really nice. It was fun. Yeah, ready, orange. It does feel like we have some overlap on this choice, right? From rhythm and on this group. On beat, and then it's same choreo. Yeah, and down like the push, like the pull on that sternum was really fun on that. Their second chorus tied together really well. So rhythm had a really strong opening, but started seeing consistencies near the end. They had an inconsistent opening, more fullness happening in their second chorus. Isn't that interesting, right? And we have a little moment, no. Yeah, I love how we chose to space that out. So that was really good on the build. But now, it did take me a second to figure out who my feature was. I kind of looking at my guy right here, but it's my guy in the back. So that's, to me, I guess I'm going to give him a note. It could be a subjective note. We're just going to chalk it up to that of showcasing more of a, hey, I'm the feature here, look at me. Because the choreography is not setting it up to make it easy for us as an audience to clock you unless you have the performance quality to really push out above everybody else in the moment, because it is unison too. Right? Okay. Yep. Accent point is fine. Cool. Yeah, can you feel the vibe? So that there, he's the one saying that, but it's, you know, everybody else it's all unison. So that was a little bit tricky. Hitting it through. He's got a lot more feature moments. This is the third time we're seeing him on the line distribution. Come on. Okay, I'm assuming they get to do, the line distribution's different for both, because I think this was the JL part, and he was not featured until starting in the second course later on, right? So this was cool. I like the pull downs are cool. The throw is nice to switch up on the directions. They go hit, 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 nice. So I like the cannon on that. And then we have a nice moment. That gives wolf, doesn't it? If you know, you know on that. So there's that, and I like how he's in center. Come on now, high note. And they go hit, hit. I love the fullness on that and the push up, push up. Now, it doesn't feel as out of place as I have seen fullness from individuals happen in the past challenges. So that's improvement, but range could improve in general. Range meaning, like I've said, of how we're getting from our A to our B in our move. Some of our choices we're going in, some are going in front, more so up top, so that would be my note there. And then we have a little moment. So that was cool. Nice little body roll, and that's fine. Whoops, everybody's a little party. We do have more party moments, meaning more freedom of movement in a transition. I think it's the third time we're seeing it here. I don't think this happened very much in rhythm. Some people may be turned off by that. Some people may appreciate it more. It just depends on your audience. Oh, man. Ready or not. Here we go. That kind of felt like the ending, but it wasn't. So I don't know choreographically. I think it could have been helpful possibly to give a more structured transition point. I mean, I did feel like we were about to go to an outro with rhythm more so than on this section, because they were in a straight line. It felt like, okay, we're done. Because a lot of times, if you've ever watched like NCT stuff, it feels that way. They normally finish in that straight line a lot of times. And so I feel conditioned on, okay, straight line means we're almost done because we see everybody, right? But I digress. Nothing crazy. That's just a subjective note. That's life. That was cool. Boom. Brrr. So I like that accent on that was cool. They pull through and they bring it down. A lot of unison, about as much unison, probably maybe a smidgen more than rhythm. They bring it through. I like his feature moment. He's cool. And they go blah, blah, blah. And then we do a little hit them, folks. Rum, da, da, dum. I like that little drop, drop. So that was cool. He rushed again. Like, it just feels like he rushed just a little bit, but... Dun, dun, dun. So I like the triple it. Boom, boom. And I got da, da, da. So the pullback is fine. The pull down is nice. The switch, switch. So I like the choices of movement. Feel the vibe. And then we just do just a walking with energy to our next spot. We have 2, 2, and then we have a little trio. The grab is fine. Range could super, super improve. I felt a little off on that on this outside here on that stage right side. So sorry. Pick up there. I like that moment there was fun, but range could improve. The rotation around with the accent point there was fun. And then I like the team integration. I like that choice. It is a risk though, because it's a prop and the prop is an extension of you. Not everybody utilized the prop effectively in our choices. Some of them felt like it was kind of not holding us back, but it was something that we were really conscious of, and you want it to enhance your performance, not regress it. So I don't know if that worked in their favor there. Now, who do I think is going to get more points? I couldn't tell you. I would say my preferences here. Whoa, what's that? Oh, they wanted me to make a little bookmark. Okay. I would say if I'm going off of a personal note, who I wish had more screen time, I really do think this is quarter zip. We're going to guess it today, so sorry if I'm incorrect. I think he has a high chance of getting it, and I could also see my guy here being most valuable performer. Just based on the full cam off of this video, it sounds like they're performing for an audience, so could it be? Maybe. But I had a lot of fun with this because it is a different challenge than the first one. The draft is different in format. The first challenge was a cover. This is a new song, and you're doing a straight comparison. Do I think SBS could have structured it more effectively to do a legit comparison if you're going to do it? Yes, but it's still an individual competition, which is so interesting, right? Where some people are voting for players because of the director more so than the player itself, which to me, I'm like, yo, directors are cool and all, but we want to have some integrity in our voting, right? But I'm not speaking on everybody, but in a nutshell, who do I think could win? I do think if we're looking off of a team cohesion sense, I think rhythm in the places where they were really clean happen near to the beginning, that can help you extend more grace to when things get off near the end. I think B had a certain degree of tone shift that they had to combat because their stage presence wasn't as strong in the beginning. Now also it could be who went first. Like that can influence that so much as well. So keep that in mind. All of this you can take it with a grain of salt. I do have some lens that we can look at this from, but also at the end of the day, I could be completely wrong, and that's life. I'm a human who doesn't hear wordplay on this today. That's fine. And I had a lot of fun on these guys, but we're going to go ahead and look at Mamma Mia here. I don't know what team this is at all. So this is super fun. I'm excited to dive into this. We're going to analyze it, but just know we're going to do a straight run through of it next week. It'll come back. Ooh. The choreo's really cool, but it feels like we're sacrificing vocals for the intensity of the choreo. I hear cheers. That was surprising. Here an audience again. So interesting. Okay, so when it comes to composition of choreography, I like this choreography the most out of the three. However, they're the most unstable vocally. out of all three groups. Now, of course, they're not competing against the first round or first matchup, but it's still a fun thing to note because we had nobody to compare him to yet, which makes it very intriguing for the next episode. I don't know which team this is. Because they're in blue, I guess we can assume it's B. I'll know this in the episode viewing, so you can tell me in the comments, but I'll know by the time probably that you comment. That's fine. Let's talk about it. I really find this interesting. Like, the choreography is really cool. I love the visuals on it, but then also as somebody who's a choreographer who has worked with performers who have to sing as one of those main components of what they do on a competitive level, it is something that you have to be mindful of as a choreographer to set the group up for success and utilize the toolkit. Now, I don't know, though, how the structure of the SBS side works or how the survival show works, where it does give the impression that the choreography is just what it is, and good luck to you and you figure it out. It doesn't feel like we're calibrating it to the individuals, which is different than what I'm normally used to doing in my line of work, which that's just kind of, I think, how the networks run, which is, life. They are in the same line of competition as the first matchup. So we do expect, it's safe to assume, and it's safe for us to expect them to hold it down, regardless if they're a starting lineup, a bench, whatever. They're going to be held to the same standard, and that's okay. So yeah, I only think only one of them felt stable throughout, and he's the one who ended up getting cheers in the audience too when he was featured for the first time. So I'm wondering if he's a fan favorite. There's a chance I may know who he is, but man, this is really tricky to know what team this is. Okay, anyway, so I like that sound. That was cool. They all come up, and I like the lift out the gate. That was cool. I like this little conducting moment, little piano moment too is really cool. They drop him down. That was cool. I like the switch up on this. Really, really cool on how to get everybody into an every other, it's a column, but everybody's kind of, mirrored, and they have their own, not level, but I just like the mirrored look of that and how they got into it. The transition was really cool. So we have our first feature out the gate. So I think he may get most valuable performer out of everybody. I could see maybe my guy here, possibly. I don't know, but he felt stuck out to me as he feels like an anchor. We're seeing him often in line distribution, which probably means he auditioned well. So he has a stability for the choreo. I don't know though. Yeah, it was pretty decent. Look at the little vibrato. We love that. I like the little, and we go and we move. The wave is fine. We drop down. Really cool. So I like the fold back. It's nice. Choreography's really, really cool. Gosh, I wish we had more stability in vocals or something, or compromise somewhere so they were more successful. The worst thing for me is to be in a position where I have a lot of constructive notes to give. It's just, that doesn't make it fun. For me, I like the fun being everyone's really good, which everyone's doing a great job, but it's more neck and neck. So it really is anybody's game. Those are the really fun matchups, and I feel like we experienced that. I don't know if it was in, I think, it was in the draft round. Whenever there was it could have been anybody's game on who got drafted. Those were fun. Okay. Yeah, so out the gate right here with the second feature, we're not finding stability. We are sacrificing vocals for performance is what this sounds like to me with most of them. So to me, that would be a note that I would give of the adrenaline. That's probably the adrenaline speaking. Once again, that's why adrenaline is such an interesting skill set. It's really, really hard to replicate in the dance practice space because you're not in front of an audience, nor are you being adjudicated. Now, if you have your director come in and judge you, that's going to be the closest thing you can get a lot of times. So that's, this is a really, really good opportunity to grow the skill set for them, which is why I'm not super bothered by it, but it is something that it is unfortunate, Rotation through the pool is cool. So go high, low, and they rotate around. They post down. So all of that, a lot of really cool speed change moments, not in flow, but in a lot of staccato recognition of our track to have those levels. And then we continue the rotation. So that was really cool. And they go down, 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 up. And it also, it feels like I can hear them gasping, getting breath to sing and vocalize, right? And then also I think my guy right here, could this be Beat's starting lineup? Maybe? I'm trying to figure it out because I recognize some of them, but I'm trying to remember, okay, what do they all have in common? Are they, because they're in blue, so I'm assuming this may be Beat. And then this guy looks like Mr. Ginger, maybe. And then this guy looks like he was in the hot seat on the narrative on SBS 2 episodes ago, right? Episode 2. So maybe I don't know. Anyway, I like the Matrixy like little gliding moment that happened there. That was really cool. And then the level on that, he goes and moves forward. The hits. I really like his choices. The quickness of that was really cool. So they present. I like this moment, that accent point. Really dope accents. God, this choreo was so cool. That little bro. I like the sweep around. He's doing well, yeah. That was good. Okay, so he's doing pretty good too. I like the switch up right there going on with the arms and the breakaways. Yeah. That was okay. That was okay. And now we have to switch. Nice. Lower register, too. Interesting. They were holding that responsibility there. The pulse back is cool. They switch up over, and they drop it down. It also feels like we're going 90-0. It's the type of track it is. I think it's a drum and bass style, so the BPM is wild on this. Goodness. Yeah, so the performance, this makes me so intrigued on what's going down on with the next group. Like, what are they doing choreographically? Because this is very interesting. They're like, we're not stopping for nobody. Let's go. So this is cool. The presses are really cool. Down, and then we go out to the side, and then we press it back. Now I have no idea who that feature was in that moment. I was assuming it was my guy here, but his mouth's closed. His mouth's open, so maybe it's him? Possibly? I don't know. But here we go. We're running. I like going high-low, and then we trickle up, the legs up, which was cool. The chest was cool there, but at what was the expense, right? Let me see. Yeah, like it felt like like we heard sound, but it wasn't like it wasn't words, right? So the push over was nice. Na, na, na. This is a cool song. I like this song. Out of the 2 songs, I think preferentially, I think this is my vibe too. And then we go uppercut. Who is singing there? Hold on. Here? My guy right there? So that's an interesting observation. Is I think I'm noticing more in this one that it's trickier to catch who's being featured. I think it's the second time now, and then it goes into my guy right here, right? Could that just be because it's so fast, it wouldn't have been practical to do a transition there to get them switched up? But then in that case, what could have been helpful was doing a level dynamic or doing a framing to that guy, because he is in the back. It is hard to recognize, because it does sound like, here's my moment, but I don't get to appreciate it as an audience member because I'm too busy looking who just sang, right? Versus appreciating, he sang in that moment. Let's go. I like giving flowers where flowers are due too, So that's going to be an opportunity. Like, you notice how he was up and then he became an outlier for a moment. I wish we had that moment for the previous feature. Okay, I like it going da-na-na, boom. I like the phrase bleed through. So those are cool. And then go down, up. They hit it. Range could improve on the arms. Rotating, dum-dum, over. Body roll. And I like going to the side, and then they bring it around the back. And they push it from side to side. Which is nice. For the most part, they're doing a pretty good job on going. You know what I mean? Body roll, and then we accent. I like the build up on that. It's cool. Nice. Way to the inside, the switch, accent, and it goes hit, and then we go in, and then we cross over. Nice. And then it goes da 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 da. So we're pushing and pushing. So I really like the directions on this. Look at that. Facing towards each other, but they're closer in spacing. Facing away, then you have a center. This is a fantastic composition. Goodness. Okay. And the build-up is really nice. Crossing the back. Da-na-na-da-na-na-na. So that was a fun add-on. Range could improve. Range is specifically in the extension of the arm. And they rotated to the back. They ball changed low to high. And then from there, what are they end up doing here? Let's see. It does sound like we have multiple people singing. I think it was my guy right here that was contributing to that, which is cool. So I like how they use motion and they use the content to get us to a new spot here. Bring it up. Now, this is a very interesting formation. I don't quite know what's going on here. Actually, if we have a group of 7, I find it, it would have been, normally what happens is if you have a group of 7, you have a person that's supposed to be center, then you would have 4 people here, right? So you put one guy right here. We'll have one. Boom, right there. And then you would have, like my guy right here, he would move there. He would be there. He would be in the space here being in center, right? I know my diagram doesn't really quite make sense, but this feels really cluttered here and it doesn't feel clean, right? So that would be my note there. I don't know if that was a composition on choreo, if it was just circumstantial on stage. It happens. Guys, it happens. We're human. It's life. Yeah, very curious about that. Okay, so we have a little body roll of tension on that. I love the level change, and we have a breakaway. Cool. And the switch over on that is really nice. And then we have a little, it was a level change, but then also direction change in torso. I do wish the second set of two, boom, boom, could have been a little bit crisper, but I really like the intention of it. Knee slides were cool on that. And then we reset over, da-da-da-da-da-da, so they're facing back. I like how he uses wrist to make that a fun little moment there. I like the opposition on that, which is cool. They bring it through and bring it through. And then they go nice little down, and we go down, which is nice. And then we push it away. Okay, cool. So we hit it over to the side. So I like how we press or do a little trace and accent. So it feels like we added on, right? And so now it was an add-on with the trio, and then it's an add-on with the trio in the back. So that was cool, and they're frozen on the side. And then they add on right here. So that was cool on the little presses. We're here for that. I liked the visual choice on that because you had your feature, you had two add-on, add-on, add-on. That was smart. Really, really cool. And now, if I'm going off of, if this is the beat starting team, and you had my individual who was a part of the narrative of the team beat side on episode 2, where you notice he wasn't practicing a lot. If that's him, I don't know if it is. I don't know, right? If it is, immense progress on movement quality, immense progress on stability of vocals, if that is who it is. Just like I gave Daisuke his flowers when I noticed his waving and legato was better. If that is who I think it is, he deserves to get some flowers too. But if I haven't seen him yet, I'm looking forward to it, right? Anyway, the presses are fine. Boom, da na na na. So he presses over. We go down, high, low. Range could have improved just a smidge there. And I like how he looks. I like the little up moment there. That was fun. And I like the little accent point with the elbows on that. And they go push and push. So I like the fullness accents on that. Your life. And then we build up, which is nice on the kicks. And then we have a little dig on the heels on that. Little stop. Get it? Stop. Haha. Anyway, so we go down. So a lot of unison for this, but we're doing a lot of subtle transitions where we get some people to go a little bit further out. So I don't mind that as much here. But I've always talked about this. The more unison you have in your choreography, the higher the chance we're going to do a microscopic comparison. Like his was just a smidgen off, but that's really not a huge concern compared to other range things we've seen, right? So that was nice, hitting over. Same thing as what we've already seen. I like the knee accent on that. We bring it from one side to the other, which is also cool. Boom, they hit and done. We are the little accent. So he did really, really good on these pops on that. The accent is nice. So I could see him pull most valuable player because of some of those choices he's been making in his feature moment, right? Switching over, arm, which is nice. And then we bridge it over, the okay. I like the flick down, which is nice. And we throw it. Come on now, party. Party. And then we go arm in arm, so I like how we have a little party moment. I don't mind it when we have it like once, but remember my note that I gave to, it's not even a note, just an observation of, I think that was Team Beat Bench, maybe. What is it? They partied pretty often, about 3 times. Not their fault. It's also, it's not anybody's fault. And it's not even a problem. It's just an observation, right? So here we noticed it once. It's a nice way to do a transition, and it feels more refreshing because we haven't seen it before in the group yet. So that was cool. And then pushing over, I like how we hit it and then we accent on the chest. So that was really cool. And then we end up bringing both of them to the inside. So that was cool. And then we rotate. We are. Phrasing is awesome. So whoever choreographed this, thank you. I really like this. I'm just hopeful that we grow on the stability side. If this is rehearsal, man, I hope we see progress on the stable vocals going into performance. If this is performance, I hope people can at least appreciate the performance quality of it. Like, they're doing a fantastic job going for it. Like, I give flowers for that, you know? And they go out, and then they do a little clap, high, low, and I like the subtle fixed point on that. Could that be more refined? Always, but I like the fact that we could see it enough. Whoops, sorry. And they go da 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 da. And the wave up, that was a nice wave through the fingers, thank you. They bring it over, and I like the tension on the tail end of it, and then we have two little archways, and you have two more come in, and I like how then we create one big archway, and we build it up. Now we have a group of three, and he has a fun moment there, and he pushes and punches it away, and they bring it through. I like the little camel walk forward, and then he has a little twinkle in, high, low, and it goes front to back. Fun, different directions on that. Subtle, and then we have everybody be more unified to the front, hidden to the back, chasing out of vinyl light. I like the different chorus finish. That's fun. Slide it back, the pickup on, but also notice, I feel like we have more stability near the middle to end than we did in the beginning, which is so interesting to this for me. Because normally it's the other way around, right? So I think that's so fascinating on this. But then we never stop. It kind of felt like it got cut short a little bit there, but I mean, that could be chalked up to mic, whatever, who knows. It goes da-da-da, blah, so I like that we accent it there, which is cool. It goes high to low, which is cool. La-do. Who is that? Let me see. Who hit that? So yeah, that's just going to be my note. I want to appreciate whoever made that high note, but I couldn't. I have no idea who was featured there, and I shouldn't have to rely upon who's mouthing words or who's singing it. I should be able to know based off a composition of choreo, so that would be my note there. But I really like a lot of elements of it, though. It's the same kind of tail end. So that was a good way to get to a straight line. Body roll, accent. No, everybody's doing it instead of just one person, so I like the repackage. I like the head on there. He has a good moment there. Crawls it up. Then we have a little okay sign. Who we are. And then we have a fun finish. Cool. Very nice. So for me, who my most valuable player would be, I have it between two. I would say he would be a good contender and he would be a good contender. Based on line distribution and how they held it down on their features, I do think he was a smidgen more consistent. But, I mean, all in all, though, I feel that throughout the show, because remember, I am watching the episodes as well, I am taking the approach on as much as I am an analyst or analyzing movement quality progression at the end of the day is what this is. We're looking at these guys, we're looking at these teams over the course of the challenges, how saturated they are in their practice and their discipline, how is the dynamics going on in the space, who has had a combative experience going into an episode versus not. We're only given what SBS chooses to give us, so we have to remember all of that. I love the fact we have the full cams and they get them out pretty early, so I get to do the analysis before the episodes. I appreciate that, so I don't have an influence, so I can have a better refined perspective when other circumstances happen. They should all be very proud of themselves. I think this is a really fun challenge. Do I wish we had a little bit more consistency in if we're going to do a true who did it better? There could have been other elements that we could have made a little bit more baseline. But that's just more of a subjective note that I would give to SBS on the production side. But I really love the LED. I like the costuming. I like a lot of the choices. I feel like we're going up on the composition with all the choreos, even though preferentially I do like the structure of this one, even though there were different things I was catching on this one compared to the other two, which is so fascinating, right? And we have to remember too, at the end of the day, this is an individual competition, right? So even if a group isn't the cleanest in the world, they could still score higher on the individual side. So that's a very interesting mechanic in the show that a lot of people would be caught off guard on, because there is some rankings that have happened in the show where people are like, what? Part of it can come from so many different circumstances, right? So we have to remember all those things. I'm excited for the discussions on this. I'm excited to watch this again, all of these again in the episode, but watch this one again going into episode, I think episode 4, because we just finished. Wow, what episode are we on? Are we episode 3? Episode 4? I don't know anymore. I think we're on episode 4. So next week's episode 5. I'm excited for episode 5. There we go. To see and revisit this on the analysis. Y'all know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.